this afternoon here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It's the middle game of a three-game series between the Marlins and the Orioles. Miami's been playing some good baseball the last week or so, having won 4 of the last 5, including the ball game last night, shutting out the Orioles. Inside the broadcast booth, Paul Severino and Todd Hollinsworth. Well, a lot of good things for the Marlins in the last week or so, but a lot of good things this month for Lewis Brinson. A rough start to the season. March, little part of March there was just about as tough as I was made that. April was not all that great. May was kind of tough, but June he's hitting over 300.
Now, Brinson, exit velocity is really the one thing that stands out for me right now. The way he's hitting the baseball last night was a classic example of this. He's going to go triple in one gap, triple in the other gap, and it's all about getting his pitch and not missing his pitch. I've said it quite often here through April, May, now into June. It's the key to great hitting. When you watch guys get hot, when you watch guys go through these great cycles and these great rhythms that they get into at home plate, they're getting their pitch and they're not missing their pitch. Dietrich said it just a week ago. Brinson's doing it right now in front of our eyes.
He has been a lot of fun to watch, no question about that. He's got to be feeling comfortable right now. And speaking of comfort, Wei-Yin Chen certainly comfortable here at this ballpark. Of course, started his big league career wearing this uniform, and Chen back home.
Well, I'll tell you what, he ends up a Marlin because of what he did here at this ballpark. You look at these great numbers, 3.76 ERA. I mean, he made 117 career starts for the Baltimore Orioles. They let him go. The Marlins picked him up. They're hoping that he gets back to that 3.76 ERA and make it about 30 starts a season. He's moving in the right direction. I know we've kind of hinted at it over the last couple of starts. There's been some, peripheral numbers that you can say things are certainly improving, but one thing that has to really improve, he's got to get deeper in a game.
No question about that. We will see if the Marlins can take the first 2 of this 3-game series on the first stop on this road trip. A 3-city number. When we come back, Wei-Yin Chen, a former Oriole, back at Camden Yards. The first pitch coming up after the break. Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Out on Utah Street here at Oriole Park in Camden Yards. Again, a place that opened up in 1992, kind of set the tone for all of the new ballparks around there. Inside Boog's Barbecue, Boog Powell. And if we're looking for Holly in the 5th or 6th inning, that'll be the first place we look. And if you're looking for me in the 8th,
well,
that'll be
it
where
is Father's Day weekend, and it is Saturday. Those two things go together well.
That's right. Barbecues, you got it, maybe. All right, so Derek Dietrich will lead things off today as the designated hitter in the Marlins lineup presented to you by Southwest. You see Brian Anderson at 307 hitting second. Anderson has been red hot. Another multi-hit game last night. He keeps things rolling. One guy that we do not see is Miguel Rojas, hit by a pitch on the hand yesterday, but the good news is that it's just a contusion. He's day-to-day, so Yadiel Rivera gets the start at third base. So that was one of the things for Don Mattingly to be concerned about yesterday, but again, it could be, we could see at some point today Miguel Rojas off the bench defensively if need be. Kind of an emergency type of situation. Alex Cobb makes his 12th start this year with a 7.23 ERA.
Yeah, to an 8 record. He's still looking for his first Orioles win here at Camden Yards. He's pitched to a 5.71 ERA. Not very many favorable numbers that support his cause so far this season. You see Cobb, look at the opponent's batting average against 350, lefties 390, righties 319. When you look at this game on paper, Paul, I got to be honest, it looks like there should be a lot of runs scored in this one as Cobb has struggled really all season long. Here we go, bad memories. Last start, June 10th against the Toronto Blue Jays, 3 2/3 innings, 11 hits, 9 earned runs. Worst start of the season, gave up 2 home runs in that ball game. Exit velocity and launch angle, 11 home runs allowed in 56 innings already this season. Get this, 13.66 hits per 9 inning. 1.77 home runs per 9 as well. Hitters are slugging .593 against Alex Cobb, and this is pretty simple stuff, guys. When opportunity knocks for the Marlins,
like that, you swing at the first pitch, you find a gap in right center field.
Either I got to speed up the AutoNation scouting reporter. I tell you what, Dietrich right on it. First pitch in, ready to go. I love it. It's what you like to see.
His 13th double of the season. That's the way to set the tone.
Well, it certainly is. Again, first pitch of the ball game. I told you he's coming off a bad start. Alex Cobb's not in a good spot right now. Couldn't possibly be with everything that's been going on. He's been getting hit hard all season long. I was busy telling you .593 slugging percentage. First pitch, double. Dietrich, great swing. Now, there is not much evidence or even a place. I was telling you, I was going through my notes last night, watching some video with Cobb. I mean, there's not a safe landing for him. I can't get there, for him. Not that we would. You look at the numbers, they are what they are.
A productive out here for Brian Anderson. 2 pitches, and the Marlins already have a runner at third with 1 out.
Let's get you the Orioles defensively for this afternoon's ballgame. Ricker gets to start in left field. Jones in center. Gentry in right. Valencia, Machado playing short. Scope, Mancini over at first base. He was in left last night. Wins behind the plate.
Well, Wins hasn't caught one yet. There's that. The first pitch was rocketed into the right center field gap. The second pitch, a ground ball to second base, and all of a sudden, the Orioles have the infield in with JT Realmuto at the plate. It's 1 for 5 in last night's ball game, and a chance to perhaps score a run even with an out as he takes strike 1.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I mean, you look at, we talk about losing 8 straight. This Baltimore Orioles ball club has had their issues this season. They've scored 17 runs in their last 8 losses. So they're desperate. They don't want to give up runs, but you've also got a pitcher who's struggling.
And that's through for a base hit. An RBI single for JT Realmuto, and the Marlins have a 1-0 lead.
I mean, it's classic, right? You pull the infield in, and you get yourself into a position where you say you turn a 300 hitter into a 400 hitter, because here's what happens. Everybody shortens up. Look how that gets through. Now, JT would probably tell you, I mean, he's thrilled to get the RBI single. Does a nice job getting it through the left side. But my point is that if the infield is just giving up the run because it's early in the ball game, you probably get the out at first base.
But instead, 1 on, 1 out, 1 in, and Justin Bour takes strike 1. Bour last night was 0 for 4. Did not reach base for the first time in a while. Snapped his 13-game on base streak. And now sends this one out to left field. Back a little bit is Rickard, and he makes the catch. 2 away.
Well, really what I was getting to, that last key, when opportunity knocks, I put it on the Marlins. The Marlins very good in the Giants series with runners in scoring position. Yesterday 1 for 11. So far today 1 for 2. So there you go. That's the improvement that you're looking for, because there should be opportunity against Cobb today to score some runs. Sinker, knuckle curveball, and a split finger that comes in about 87 miles an hour. All the numbers favor the hitters.
Darlin Castro now 0 for 4 last night. And a rather rude greeting to Alex Cobb in this first inning. Not able to settle in on the first pitch. Was a double for Dietrich. He has already come around to score on the RBI for JT Realmuto.
Saw him a lot with Tampa Bay. See that 178 ERA, but he's not been in a good spot. I think it's been a great approach. I love to see the Marlins come out. I mentioned key number 1, bad memories, right? He's coming off his worst start of the season. He's got bad numbers for the season. What do? You jump him. You don't let him settle in. You don't let him find his fastball command and set up that knuckle curve. Go right at him.
Signed a 4-year, $57 million deal with the Baltimore Orioles very late in the spring. Again, we'll certainly get into how that, or at least how he says that, may have affected his start to the year. But this is his 12th start of the season. At the end of last year, he was the 6th longest tenured Ray in club history. 7 years and 61 days, as Castro fouls that one back and right into one of the other booths up here. Not sure if that's the radio booth or what, but I'm sure if it was into Yiki's booth, Yiki made the catch. Good hands.
Yiki made the catch with a coffee in his hand is what he did. So that would have been a one-handed catch.
Ah.
Ali.
The 2-2 to Castro. It squirts away, and they'll throw to first base to complete the strikeout. But JT Realmuto with an RBI single, an early run of support for Wei-Yin Chen. 1-0. With an RBI single, got the Marlins a 1-0 lead. And now Wei-Yin Chen will try to protect that against this Baltimore Orioles batting order. Presented to you by Southwest. A slightly different look, but again, one name that continues to not be in the lineup is Chris Davis. And we can talk about him as the afternoon goes along, but this is an offense right now that is not led by a guy who's got a $150 or so million contract, but rather a guy who's going to get a lot more than that. Manny Machado, who hits third. Even he is scuffling, as they say right now. So Wei-Yin Chen making his 10th start will try to keep this offense cool.
And he certainly will. Career at Camden Yards, 59 starts. We showed you 24 wins, 3.76 ERA. Obviously, all of that with the Baltimore Orioles, 6.13 ERA this season.
Both offenses offering at the first pitch, and both leadoff hitters with a base hit. As Craig Gentry gets the knock to left.
Yeah, first pitch fastball, elevated, hit hard, right off the glove of Rivera into left. Chen, he has struggled on the road. 0-3, 10.31 ERA. This is his 6th start on the road. Away from Marlins Park, hitters are hitting .346 against him. Lefties .222, righties .292 with 6 home runs.
Adam Jones fouls one back to the screen. Had a hit in last night's ball game, a bunt single as the Orioles threatened late, but were unable to push a run across, being shut out for the 8th time in 2018. 2-0 Marlins win to start this 3-game series, 3-city road trip. Chop to Rivera at third. They will go around the horn for the double play.
Let's give you a quick look. One big hop to Rivera. Strong throw to second. The accuracy there. Good job by Castro holding the bag. Good throw on over to Bohr. 2 outs. As quick as that base hit was wiped out. Shuck gets the start in left. Brinson in center. Anderson in right. Rivera over at third base. JT Riddle at short. Castro, Bohr, JT Realmuto. Wei-Yin Chen on the mound.
So 3 pitches and 2 outs, and here is Manny Machado. Again, numbers on the season very good. 306 with 18 homers, 50 RBIs. But a guy who's been scuffling as of late during this 8-game losing streak for the Orioles. He is 4 for 28 with no extra base hits and 2 RBIs. And grounds one to Castro, who was on the shortstop side of the bag. A 1-2-3 essentially. First inning for Wei-Yin Chen with the help of the double play. 1-0. Welcome back. A 1-0 Marlins lead as we head to the top of the 2nd inning. Today we're participating in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. So far, since June 1st, approximately $2 million have been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. Of course, the last day for that is tomorrow, celebrating Father's Day. As JT Riddle leads things off, and he swings at the first pitch, sends it to deep left center field. Jones is back, and that one's off the wall. Does a nice job corralling it, and that gets by him. Riddle is not on second, rather on third, but first pitch doubles in the first and second, and the Marlins in business again against Alex Cobb.
Well, an elevated fastball, 92 miles an hour, gets those arms extended. Nice leg work / glove work by Jones just to keep this ball close to him. He chased that all the way to the wall. That could have been a dangerous spot. That ball gets by Jones. We may see a second inside the park home run for JT Riddle this season.
And now Lewis Brinson offers it the first pitch and pops this one up down the right field line, but that one will reach the seats. Brinson coming off a very good night last night. A couple of triples for him. See, the average is up to 179. Again, on the whole, it doesn't sound like much. You say, yeah, 179. He's still on the interstate, as they say. But a 302 average in June, a double, 3 triples, 3 homers, and 10 RBIs.
Well, any good Marlins fan knows you're just going to pay attention to the good results and not those first couple of months. It's been a very productive June. You mentioned the numbers. He's squaring up the baseball. You and I were kind of grinding this out pregame today, trying to explain to people how do we best help them understand how good he has been, and really we centered on exit velocity. It's as simple as that. You know, we were looking at pitch counts and number of foul balls, all sorts of things to try to explain how good he's been, but it's the exit velocity that's taken the biggest jump. Certainly know that is a reflection of squaring up the baseball. Anybody would tell you. Frank Menachino would certainly tell you. The more you do it, the more hits you get. It's as simple as that. You see line drives more consistently, you're going to get more hits.
Well, there's also more of that, what we just saw on that last pitch. At breaking ball, it looks like a strike for most of the trip to home plate, and then it misses by a couple of inches, and he doesn't swing. There's been a lot of that.
Well, part of it is because he's had more of a midfield approach, mid to right field approach. A lot of his hits lately have gone right up the middle. You see Frank Menachino there. Through the middle. What does that allow you to do? It allows the ball to track a little bit more in the zone. You're thinking about pulling the knob on that bottom hand through and staying inside the baseball, and you're not thinking about getting out and around, about how quick you have to be or how fast you have to get the barrel there. It buys you that split second to recognize. Another way of saying it would be, I mean, he's defending the strike zone so much better in the month of June than we saw early on. Say April, at this point of the at bat, I think that he would have chased something out of the zone and the at bat might actually be over already. Take.
See, like that. 6 weeks ago, he struck out. Now he works the count full 3-2.
Confidence is rising. Borderline pitches. He knows that that's just off that outside corner. His pitch recognition is where it needs to be, and it plays into what his swing is. He also understands that about himself.
Hits it behind the runner. Riddle moves to third as Machado makes the play over to first. And Brinson is retired, but over to third goes Riddle.
That's right. Productive at bat. Soft contact, but a productive out. Wellmax Medical Centers are taking care of Marlins fans on Senior Thursdays. Fans 65 and older can receive complimentary ticket to the game with a valid ID at the third base entrance to Marlins Park. Join us Thursday, June 28th, when the Marlins face the Diamondbacks. For more information, visit marlins.com/offers.
Here's J.B. Shuck. 0 for 4 in last night's ball game. Infield in again for the Orioles. The Marlins pretty much follow the same script they had in the first inning here in the second inning. A leadoff double, a ground ball to move a runner to third. In the first inning, Real Muto had the base hit. We'll see if Shuck can come up with one, or at least a fly ball that would score Riddle. Ground ball, backhanded at second, no play for Scope at home, and it's an RBI ground out for J.B. Shuck. The Marlins have a 2-0 lead.
Well, sometimes you're rewarded for contact, Paul, and I think this is classic case. I mean, the Orioles once again bring the infield in. Cobb right here, unable to come up with it, and because it's hit where it's hit, scope, no play. He had speed at first, in Shuck running down the line, so that decision had to be made fast. Can't tell you how many times I've told you this year that they just tap it to the right side, just tap it over there. It gets a run in.
Just put it in play.
That's right.
Well, that's what I always find so funny. There is the faction of fans who sit there and say, well, an out's an out. No, it's not. If Brinson and Shuck strike out, then Riddle's still at second base.
That's absolutely the truth. Also working towards the the bottom half of your lineup. Those are productive outs. They set the stage, and you take one hit and you score a run.
Called strike 3. Off the outside edge, but the Marlins get another run. It's 2-0. The Marlins, same score that there was yesterday as they won the opener. Time for the Toyota Inside Look. It has been a lot of this, in fact. The Marlins leading, the Marlins beating the Orioles 21-7 all time. Only the Cubs against the Tigers and the Reds against the Angels with better win percentages. Wei-Yin Chen's first pitch is in there for a called strike to Danny Valencia. Valencia, Trey Mancini, and Jonathan Scope. Up here in the second, now a 2-0 cushion. Wei-Yin Chen.
Speaking of winning, the Marlins are 7-4 in their last 11 ball games. Marlins fans, you're all keeping track of things at home in South Florida, but they're playing pretty good baseball right now. And get this: if they win today and the Mets lose, they've caught the Mets in the win column.
Yes. The Mets have allowed that to happen. They have lost 12 of 13, but I see your point, and I appreciate it, and I agree with you.
It's a little effort on my part. I don't feel like I'm reaching. It is a fact that they will have caught them in the wins. There you go. There's the look. There you go. I know we played more games than their teams played more games than the Mets have, but let's be honest, they play. I set it up with 7-4 for crying out loud.
You're right. You go back to that series in St. Louis to finish up the last road trip. They won 2 out of 3. Took 3 out of 4 from the San Francisco Giants. This one in on the hands. Perhaps a broken bat. Little looper to Justin Bour over at first, and Valencia is retired. Stay tuned in the middle of the 7th inning for the Ram game break. mentioned before that Wei-Yin Chen, in a sense, back home after having pitched so many games as a member of the Baltimore Orioles here. Pitched to a career 3.74 ERA. 59 starts. So when you're listing off those road numbers, technically, obviously, he's wearing the road gray uniform. But do you think, having played before, you're not pitched, I get it, but going back to a ballpark that you did call home, did you feel comfortable there?
Sure. Absolutely. First time I did it in my career, I raced back to LA, and I think I dropped, I don't know, 7-9 hits in a series against the Dodgers that day. And it was like, it was part I wanted to pay him back, and part I knew where I was, and I knew how to, you know, I knew what time to be there. I knew how the traffic flow went at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, all those things that, you know, you get. Yeah, there's something to it. I absolutely agree.
Ball and 2 strikes to Trey Mancini, who doesn't chase the ball in the dirt. Count 2-2. It will sound like a broken record here, but Mancini, one of the Orioles who has been scuffling as of late. Since May 30th, which is 13 games, 21 strikeouts and 48 at-bats. This one, though, chopped to second. Mancini's out.
Hey, Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by Coors Light. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go. Now, good sign for Chen. We've seen the fastball. Certainly, that's what sets up his secondary pitches. That's been the big problem this year, those secondary pitches, the consistency of them. He gets into a spot where he's got to rely too heavily on that fastball is when he's become vulnerable.
Ball to Jonathan Scope. 17 pitches, 2 outs here in the second inning. That misses just low, says the home plate umpire C.B. Buckner. Buckner behind the plate. Chris Conroy is at first. Brian O'Nora at second, and the crew chief Fielding Culbreth is at third. 2-1.
Orioles have 4 hits. Obviously, we're very early here in game 2. Even going back to last night, 4 hits in this series, and 3 of those hits have been wiped out by double plays.
Yeah, I believe they only had the 1 runner reach second base last night.
Right.
That's how good Jose Urena was, going 8 strong innings last night. And Don Mattingly said after the game, if they had a bigger lead, it was 2-0. If they had a bigger lead, even though he was at 112 pitches, he would have sent him back out there for the 9th inning.
We told you in the 9th inning there was no velocity drop off.
None.
We saw 97 consistently all game long. Why not? He was in there. You said it to me. I said, I know they're going to take him out, but I got to tell you, I think he goes through the 9th with no problem.
Three and 2. That one misses low and away, and it's the first free pass issued today by Wei-Yin Chen. 2-out base runner for the Baltimore Orioles, and that will bring up Mark Trumbo. Trevor Richards and Dylan Bundy, the 2 starting pitchers tomorrow in the series finale. Our Marlins Live pregame show on the air at 12:30. First pitch a little after 1 o'clock. And then it's off to San Francisco to see the Giants again. One of those situations for Richards where there have been some ups and some downs, and the ups have been very, very good. This one is up in the air to shallow left field. JT Riddle, if it ever comes down, puts it away for the final out in the second. 2-0 Marlins.
That's a good day. So today is a good day because I am hanging out with an awesome group of Marlins fans. They're all members of the Fish Family Rewards program. As part of that, you can come on a road trip. So they're all hanging out here in Baltimore. That includes Ricky and his wife, Lucy. Ricky, how has the trip been so far?
This has been 5 stars, from the hotel to the tours to what they set up for us. Second to none. Hats off to the Marlins.
Hey, and it doesn't hurt that the Marlins are already up 2-0.
And awesome games. We're getting some awesome games. We're here in a suite. We met some new friends, Alexis, Cookie, and a bunch of other people. Awesome bonding for Marlins fans and nation.
And yeah, I think Ricky hit on it perfectly, Lucy. That's the cool thing. It's not just a road trip to watch a game. You're going home with some new friends who are also Marlins fans, right?
Yes, we love it. We're having a fantastic time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I love hanging out here with you guys. Also, I saw some cake pops inside that were calling my name. So, guys, I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit.
All right, Jessica, thank you so much. Yeah, we saw some Marlins fans on our walk back to the hotel last night. Marlins season ticket holders that are here, part of the Fish family. Yeah.
Well, I started to put that together like nobody told me that, but it was like I was, I through our walking downtown and through the hotel and whatnot, bumping into a lot of people wearing Marlins gear. And
right.
I think I asked you, it took me at least 24 hours to pick up on what was going on. Now I know.
Now you get it.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, that was the thing. I mean,
so this is a popular trip. Like, we don't make this trip often, and I kept thinking, why do we keep running into Marlins people? I mean, Baltimore, what am I missing here?
Last time the Marlins
we've got
were
an
here.
event going on.
2010 was the last time the Marlins were in Baltimore. Last saw the Orioles in Miami in 2015.
Well, so far so good. The Marlins in control, doing their part to win baseball games on the road.
2-0 to Brian Anderson. Takes that one low, 3 balls and no strikes. Anderson in the first inning had a ground ball to the right side that moved Derek Dietrich over to third. He would eventually score. Marlins scored 1 in that inning and 1 in the second. As Cobb misses upstairs. Well, the script is a little different here in the third. Marlins had gone leadoff double in back-to-back innings off of Alex Cobb, and Dietrich was thinking about doing it again, swinging at the first pitch in his at-bat before ultimately striking out.
Well, maybe the idea was to get to Cobb before he gets to his split finger. It's been a somewhat productive pitch for him.
And now Real Muto out to deep center field. Jones is back, and that one is gone. It's a home run for JT Real Muto. A 2-run shot, and it's 4-0.
Well, there you go. Beautiful swing off the bat of JT Real Muto. My goodness gracious. Base hit through the left side, home run to center field. Early swinging was definitely the game plan today. He gets a 2-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour, and unloads.
After the walk to Anderson, Real Muto comes through. He's got 3 RBIs. Big swing from Bohr, taps it foul at the plate, and it's 0-2.
Well, I was quite curious, how Cobb was going to approach this afternoon. Went out in the third, now chasing 4. We watched last night as Gausman made a nice in-game adjustment. We'll get to it in a second. The idea was, we watched early on, kind of got himself in a little bit of trouble with some base runners. Didn't give up any damage, but the idea was very traditional, going at the Marlins with the fastball and trying to work his secondary pitches in. Good take by JB. Point being that Gausman actually settled in and got necessary results, kept his team in the ball game. The Marlins scored a few runs late and won the game 2-0. Cobb came right back out today, was kind of going at him with the fastball. And I guess that's my point, is that I thought, because he does have good secondary pitches, he does have a good split finger as well, maybe he'll pitch backwards today based on what happened in that Toronto start. But so far we have not seen that. He's gone at many of these hitters with that fastball early, and he's paid the price.
Pitching coach Roger McDowell looking on. And a called strike 3. Justin Bohr is down on strikes.
There you go. This is his last start. 83 pitches, lost to Toronto. You know, I watched this whole game. It wasn't as bad as those numbers tell you, but 9 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. The 11 hits, that's undeniable stuff. Again, you think about making in-game adjustments when you're in that position where things aren't going your way. Thought because of maybe what Gossman did last night, you'd see a little different approach from Cobb. You're seeing it now, though. It's kind of interesting. You know, after the home run to JT, he kind of went at Bohr with those splitties more than anything and mixed in a few knuckle curves.
Well, the other part of the interleague scenario here is that perhaps, I mean, we've got a night game, an afternoon game, a day game. Maybe in a National League sense, JT Realmuto might have gotten one of these games off. But with the DH, and I don't know exactly how tomorrow's going to go, but maybe you see him as the DH tomorrow. Give him a half day off as Castro is down on strikes. But with a 2-run home run and 3 RBIs on the day, it's going to be tough to take him out of the lineup. 4-0. JT Realmuto with a 2-run home run has the Marlins up now 4-0. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. For those Marlins fans that made the trip up to Baltimore or perhaps even live in the area, they have got to be pleased with what they have seen between last night's 2-0 victory and today's 4-0 lead. Here is Wei-Yin Chen works in the bottom of the 3rd. Joey Rickard out to very shallow right field. A little flare there from Starlin Castro. A leap for the catch, and there's one away in the 3rd. Another thing that's got to settle Chen down is the 4-run cushion as Austin Wynns digs in.
Well, you want to see him stay aggressive. It's been a bit of an issue over the last couple of starts. He's been handed a couple of different leads, but then he started to kind of, I would say, nitpick around the edges of the strike zone. That's what more than anything got him in trouble. They want to see that aggressive Chen, the guy that goes into the strike zone, makes pitches, goes after hitters. You're absolutely right. He's got a 4-0 lead. He's got to do that every inning.
Well, again, it's only the 9th batter that he's faced today, so there's a lot of baseball left, but looks like he, is at least on the right track There you go. Why do I even start? There's a base hit to right field. What I was going to say was he's gone 4 1/3 his last 2 starts.
Right.
So, and that's what you mentioned in the open, is making sure that he is able to get into some sort of a rhythm where he can work deeper into games.
Right.
And that's what the Marlins want. He had 4 walks in his last outing, but again, back-to-back starts of 4 1/3.
Right. And it's not the said bottom line. Like, look at the one in the middle, June 6th at St. Louis. Now 4 1/3 innings. He only gave up the 2 earned runs. Did scatter 6 hits, had a couple of walks. There was a lot of traffic out there. That's what this is about. And Don Mattingly even talked about it. Listen, we're in the business of winning baseball games each and every day, and you're going to do everything that we have to win a baseball game. And if that means taking you out with 4 2/3 innings when you're on the line to get a win and we've got a 6-run lead, but you're not throwing strikes, you're going to come out of the game.
That one is ball 2 to Craig Gentry.
Says who?
The umpire. Not sure how you want me to answer that.
Sorry, that was kind of an unfair question. I just knew it was all up in that strike zone.
I just try to do what I'm told. You know what I mean? 2-0. Is in there for a called strike. 2-1.
Certainly mentioned. I'll show you that last pitch. He's been good today. He's been on the edges, but he's been more in the zone than out. I think he's lost a few more pitches than has gotten back off that edge.
Check over to first, and it is a swing. His first base umpire Chris Conroy. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'd mentioned that let's take another quick look at that check swing. He definitely went around. You see the hands. He shook his head. The Baltimore Orioles are struggling this season. It's been mentioned a few different times that the Marlins are playing better baseball. If you look at the standings this morning, they're 27.5 games out of first place. 27.5 games out of first place. It is June.
It is. This is that's not a spot that far out of first place that this team under that man is used to.
That's absolutely the truth.
A lot of winning here in Baltimore.
Well, it got me wondering. I mean, it is the 3rd worst start essentially through games behind in the history of baseball.
Popped up, foul ground. See if Bohr has room up against the wall, and he did have plenty of space to make the catch. 2 away.
I mean, I've got an 1897 in here, a 1913, but tucked in at 3rd place behind the Detroit Tigers of 1953 and the 2001 Texas Rangers. I've got the Baltimore Orioles at 27.5 games out in the American League East at 19-49. And I'm telling you, the Red Sox or the Yankees, one of them is probably going to stay pretty close to maintaining where they're at in this division and all the winning they've been doing. Meaning if the Orioles don't get their act together in some respect, they're going to set the all-time record. I mean, they're 27.5 games out already.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I completely agree with you. And it's really just the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Because they are not playing the brand of baseball that they certainly hoped or expected to play this year, as this one is lined out to deep right field. Anderson is back. He leaps in. This one is going to go off the wall. Being held up at 3rd and slipping and falling, picking up his helmet, is Austin Wynns. It's a double for Jones.
Well, you see 3rd base coach Dickerson for the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, there was some healthy respect here for Anderson before this ball was even picked up. Watch this. All right, Anderson's going to chase this all the way to the wall. Does a nice job kind of getting it pinned in. That ball stays pretty close, but watch the great throw. Just misses off the top of the glove. Strong throw in right away. His arm on display. He just saved a run. Dickerson held your runner at 3rd, Wins, before he even got there. He had to go to a kick stop right there. You see it on the grass, that little slide. He was expecting to be sent. That is respect for Brian Anderson's arm. How about that, even with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd.
part of that might also be knowing who's up next. Manny Machado. Give him a chance with a couple of runners in scoring position. Takes ball one. Marlins have 3 on the left side of the infield, starting with Castro a step or 2 to the left side of second base. As Machado takes ball 2. I'm starting to sense this might become a thing today.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably going to become a thing because I'm hearing both dugouts chirping all game long.
2-0. And that one is going to get down for a base hit into right center field. 2 runs will score on the RBI single for Manny Machado. And the Orioles have their first runs of the series. It's now 4-2.
Back-to-back hits by Jones and Machado set things up. This pitch inside. Machado does a nice job fighting it off almost deliberately. You could tell in his approach that's what he was thinking. Stay through the baseball, go the other way. You mentioned the struggles that he's been having in that situation with 2 outs. Realizes that a base hit gets the job done, and it ultimately did.
That was ball 1. Danny Valencia popped up to bore in the second inning. 0 for 1 today and an 0 for yesterday at his 6-game hit streak snapped last night. Valencia's been playing a lot of third with Machado back at shortstop in 2018. Foul down the third base line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The last start for Chen came against the San Francisco Giants. He left the game with the bases loaded in the 5th inning, down 3-2. Marlins ended up coming back to win that game. The last batter he faced, he had actually balked in a run. As Valencia with a rocket through the left side of the infield, and there are 2 on with 2 out.
Well, this has turned into quite a 2-out rally for the Baltimore Orioles. Back-to-back hits. And Chen's been forced into that strike zone a little bit more than he would like. Some of these strikes a lot closer to the middle of the plate than on the edges.
And Juan Nieves out to talk with Wei-Yin Chen. Third time through the lineup, but again, we're not there yet. But 5:22, and it was that Don Mattingly referenced after that last start. A strike to Mancini. It was in that 5th inning that I was just talking about. Was again the 3rd time through the order. Mattingly had said he was hanging in there. His pitch count was getting up. It was the 3rd time through.
It was time to make a change. Ziegler walked the next batter. 4 runs were charged to Chen, but again, most importantly, the Marlins came back to win that game, as they did 3 of the 4 games against the San Francisco Giants. Two runs in the inning. On the 2-run single by Manny Machado, who is on at second base right now, as Mancini swings and misses, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Started rather harmlessly with a soft little pop-up liner to Castro at second base, but then a base hit by Wins. And then a pop-up foul territory to first base rather for Gentry, but then it's been double, single, single. The Orioles, a team that has not scored many runs during their struggles, having lost 15 of 17, have now cut the deficit in half. Chen trying to limit the damage. It'll be a 1-2 pitch to Mancini, misses upstairs, 2-2. Five pitches in the first inning, 19 in the second. He did issue a walk, but now up to 27 pitches here in the third.
Well, he's having to use the entire arsenal right now. Fastball, curve, slider, change. It's Mancini. Brought it all out.
Another 2-2 pitch. And a Baltimore chop over to third. Strong throw by Rivera gets him at first base. And Mancini is retired, but the Orioles score a pair, 4-2. Drip coffee, though, make an espresso. To the top of the fourth, it's the Marlins up 4-2 against Alex Cobb and the Orioles, and they have been quick to get to Cobb.
Yeah, why not? So many of these pitches you're going to watch. That's the first pitch, that's the second pitch, but it's the same pitch every time, right? Two-seam fastball. As I mentioned, does have a good knuckle curveball. He's had trouble controlling it this season, had trouble controlling it his last start, and I think that you're starting to see why Cobb is going to get away from that. And this Marlins team stepped up today and got in the box ready to hit. You want to mess around with that splitty or that knuckle curve. A strike on the inside corner to J.T. Riddle. Then it's Lewis Brinson and J.B. Shuck. A 2-run home run and an RBI single for J.T. Realmuto. And an RBI ground out for J.B. Shuck, accounting for the 4 Marlins runs this afternoon. To center field, Jones ranging back to the track, and he'll make the catch over his shoulder for out number 1.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
Well, the Marlins certainly put Adam Jones to work in this series. Multiple opportunities. Long running catch to start the inning. Lewis Brinson with a ground out to the left side of the infield. Moved Riddle over to third back in the second inning. Now 0-2. And just to finish that point that we were making on Brinson in his first at bat about the change in exit velocity. The incomparable Joe Frisaro pointed this out on Twitter today, that between the last part of March and May, as he chops this one to Valencia at third, 87.8 miles an hour on the exit velocity and a launch angle of 5.2. In June, entering today for Brinson, 92.2 miles per hour off the bat on average, and 16.2 launch angle. So he's hitting the ball harder. He's hitting the ball on a line. You pair all of that with the strikeout rate that's down, a chase rate that's down. You know, all the numbers right now certainly trending in the right direction for Lewis Brinson, despite the fact that he is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Well, you're no longer having the isolated moments where you're like, wow, that was a really long home run. He got that one. And then, you know, those long breaks in between, even just talking about the base hits, starting to get the hits now. Last night, double to left center field, or excuse me, triple. What I was trying to say was triple to the left of Jones and then a triple to the right of Jones. One was a fastball in, the other one was a fastball away. Good stuff. There have been some key sac flies in there as well, so it's even been the productive outs, as there has been one today as well. Well, Craig Minervini and Gabby Sanchez in studio tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. The South Florida Honda dealers present Marlins live pregame show. Trevor Richards and Dylan Bundy in the series finale as Shuck lines one out to right field. And Craig Gentry puts that one away. A 1-2-3 fourth for Alex Cobb, 4-2.
Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The Cleveland Clinic, stiff joints, aches and pains. Trust Cleveland Clinic Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. And by the Lincoln Spring Sales Event, drive into spring in a new Lincoln. Beautiful afternoon here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore. First stop on this 3-city road trip. First Baltimore, then San Francisco, and then Colorado. Wei-Yin Chen looking to get back to what he was doing in the first 2 innings. He bounced back from a rough third where he gave up a couple of runs, but his first pitch to Jonathan Schoop to lead off the 4th is upstairs. Schoop, Trumbo, and Rickard. The only walk of the afternoon was to Schoop in the 2nd. Gave up 4 hits in the span of 5 hitters in inning number 3. Ball and 2 strikes. Of course, we mentioned the numbers on Manny Machado and how consistent he's been. Of course, the face of this franchise the last few years. Certainly questions about him, but Jonathan Schoop has been a guy, his double play partner this year as he continues to tap and foul at home plate. Trying to kind of wonder where Schoop has been all year long.
We mentioned it yesterday. I mean, if you want a breakout season that he had last year, 32 homers, 105 RBIs, OPS 841, 293 on the season. He's got an OPS of 595 right now with 6 homers and 16 RBIs. And it's not April.
No, it is not. Brinson in center, 1 away.
Join us on Friday, June 29th for Pride at the Park as the Marlins take on the Mets. Purchase a ticket package to receive a Marlins themed Pride hat as well. Purchase your tickets today at marlins.com/pride.
Shall we re-rack the conversation for Mark Trumbo that we were just having about Jonathan Schoop?
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's kind of been the issue for the Baltimore Orioles, as we talked about it before. They're 27.5 games out of first place. And they've had a lot of guys who don't typically struggle, guys that at times and for stretches, as Trumbo lines one to right field, that one's going to be played off the wall by Anderson. He barehands it. Here's the throw. A little high, and Trumbo is in there with a double.
Well, he gets it down just a bit. I think he would have picked up his 5th outfield assist. A little high off the wall. Sometimes it kind of put him in a position to be high. He tried to compensate. He knew he lost a little bit of maybe half a second with that high bounce off the wall. Still a strong throw into second, just a bit high as well.
Ninth double of the year for Mark Trumbo as he is in scoring position with 1 out for Joey Rickard. He popped up to Castro. Now this one out to center field, and Brinson is there for out number 2. If you go back to that double, I think, listen, we watch a lot of Brian Anderson, and just the way that he positions his body to be able to make a strong, accurate throw right there, and then he'll turn his shoulders. How impressive is that?
That's fantastic. It's exactly what you want to do. It's making the play before the play actually starts. So much of what major leaguers do is about body positioning. You watch it all the time with infielders, and that's probably something he learned over at third base, because it's vital to the success on the infield. Squaring your shoulders before the ball's actually in your glove. You know, prepping your arm position and the grip. And everything that he did right there was flawless. I mean, going back to, even as you mentioned, watching him square his shoulders to second base before the ball was even down off the wall. He actually did it twice and readjusted.
What are we at, like 42 games, 43 games out there in right field?
Yeah, I stopped counting. I gave up on third base. I don't plan on seeing him. I mean, that's the outfielder in me talking.
Right.
I'm like, this guy's way too good in right field to even be anywhere else. So just let him do his thing in right.
Well, again, that's what's so impressive. Like, he's made the adjustment so quickly and so really seamlessly.
I don't mean this as a negative comment. I mean this sincerely, just because I spent so much time in the outfield personally. Obviously, I do a lot of it in the offseason with kids and coaching. He's fantastic out there. He is an elite outfielder. I mean, he's a good third baseman, but he's an elite outfielder. That's the way I'll say it, and I'll leave it alone.
Ball and 2 strikes to Wins. Wins had a single in the third, came around to score on the Manny Machado 2 RBI single. It's Rivera at third, and he makes the play to retire Wins. And a bounce back inning for Chen. 4-2. In Baltimore, a 4-2 lead for the Marlins as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Tomorrow, live coverage of the FIFA World Cup continues at 10 a.m. as Thomas Müller and defending champion Germany battle Chicharito and Mexico in group play. Then Brazil faces off with Switzerland at 1 p.m. Catch all the action on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Argentina.
Well, that's your team, isn't it?
1-1 draw with Iceland. Yes, it was. As Yadiel Rivera is going to reach on what might have been a broken bat. Either way, chopped over the head of Cobb. And Machado couldn't come up with it. Imagine that would go down as an infield single.
Well, of course it will, because it was on the first pitch. That's the way to get hits today. Swing at the first pitch. Nice job by Rivera hustling. Get that ball past Cobb over the mound, and it is a hit.
So that snaps an 0 for 16 for Yadiel Rivera. Back to the top of the order for Derek Dietrich. And a hit and run, but hit right to Schoop. And a double play. Might have actually been a straight steal. Either way, it's going to be a double play. exactly what Cobb would have needed after the infield single. So there's 2 outs for Brian Anderson, who walked in the 3rd. The way that the lights are being kind of broadcast in a way, the shadows in front of home plate, getting into that tricky part of the afternoon right now if you're a hitter.
I think generally speaking, the approach the Marlins have maintained throughout this entire series continues to work and certainly buys you some time if you just try to stay through the middle of the big part of the field. That's how this park plays in a lot of ways. You've got the short wall in right, you've got a short gap in left, but you've got a very big center field. The wall goes all the way out to 410. See it way out in that corner just to the right of that southwest sign out there. It's a lot of territory.
Excuse me, swing to the right side, and Anderson racing Cobb to the bag, but the pitcher makes it there by a step. Through 4.5, it's 4-2. Welcome back to Baltimore. To the bottom of the 5th we go. Marlins in front 4-2. Top of the order due up for the Orioles. Craig Gentry, Adam Jones, and Manny Machado against Wei-Yin Chen. And the first pitch is in there for a called strike. Gentry had a base hit in the 1st inning, was erased on a double play, and popped up in foul ground to Justin Bour in the 3rd. This inning has been kind of the sticking point for Wei-Yin Chen in his last couple of starts. 4 1/3 each of his last 2. Now this will be his 70th pitch of the ball game. It's fouled back to the screen, a ball and 2 strikes. First appearance against the Baltimore Orioles. It seemed that he signed with in the major leagues 2012 to 2015. His first start back here in Baltimore. Ground ball to Rivera at 3rd. And Gentry is retired. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey guys, Adam Jones loves baseball. Obviously, he plays it professionally, but what you may not know, he's a huge hockey fan. He's originally from San Diego. He has season tickets to their local American League hockey team, the San Diego Gulls. On top of that, though, he often serves as an off-ice official. His responsibilities are manning the penalty box and providing officials with pucks. Guys, how cool is that?
Very cool. Very cool. And I will say that Gull logo slightly tougher than the Endicott College Gull. That's me. Endicott College Gull. That's where I went to college. We were also the Gulls. Those are the only two teams I've ever heard that have had Gulls as their mascot. So I have that in common with Adam Jones.
There you go.
That and our athletic ability. No,
That's a bit of a stretch. You are a tremendous athlete.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
You were crushing it in the gym this morning.
Well, I think what you do is you just sprinkle a little water on your face. It looks like you're sweating. Adam Jones with a base hit through the left side, a one-out knock here in the fifth.
Yeah, his second hit of the day. And when you see Chen, he's throwing an awful lot of changeups to these righties, really getting him out on that front foot, almost trying to use one of his better weapons, the left side of the infield between Riddle and Rivera. They've been very busy today. This one gets through the right side.
Geico presents this day in Marlins history. Back in 1993, the inaugural season, Mitch Layden, the first Marlin, hit a home run in his first major league at-bat. Season of firsts. The 25th anniversary season. Here in 2018, as Manny Machado swings at the first pitch and skies this one to left field. A long run in for Shuck. He was playing very deep in left field, but plenty high for him to get underneath it for the second out of the inning. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. The Marlins need Chen, not just today, but in a general sense, to figure out how to get over that fifth inning hump that he's kind of gotten into, that little bit of a rut the last couple of times.
No, 3 times, you're right. But, you know, before that, he was able to work into the 8th inning. I believe he was the first Marlin at that point in time to work into the 8th inning. So many of us were optimistic that that would continue. But you're absolutely right. I mean, for Chen, he needs to continue to improve and get better. There's things there that you see. He's at 76 pitches right now. He's the bottom of the 5th. I mean, he's in good spot to continue to move on, but he's got to make pitches. I will say this. I know he's sprayed it a little bit here this third time through the lineup. The last couple of hitters, we've seen him fall behind a little bit. He's kind of, you know, I've watched him at times. He falls into patterns of what is working, and I certainly understand that moving forward. Like if that fastball command has been really good in a particular start, you'll see him use it a lot more than everything else if the changeup starts to work. And of course, that in a lot of ways, that's really what you want to do, but when it comes to length, you need to be able to use all your pitches all game long.
Backhanded by Riddle in the hole. A nice job to get to that one and get Jones at second. Chen is through 5. Craig, thanks so much. A lot of JT Realmuto this afternoon. He's got a RBI single in the first inning and a 2-run home run in the third. As Alex Cobb is back out there for the top of the 6th, and his first pitch is in there for a called strike. After Realmuto, it's Justin Bour and Starlin Castro. A multi-hit game for JT Realmuto.
And more importantly, multi-RBI. He's driven in 3 of the 4 runs.
Well, it's his 15th multi-hit game, his 6th multi-RBI game. The 60th pitch of the afternoon from Alex Cobb is taken for a ball as we go back to the home run.
Well, first pitch fastball. It's kind of the theme early on in this game. Cobb's gotten away from it a little bit more. Marlins maybe a little bit more patient as well as this game has moved on. Definitely a theme early. JT jumped all over it. Saw him go after Anderson previously, ended up walking him, and it was like, all right, he walked him, so he's trying to get right back into the strike zone, and the first pitch he throws, JT made him pay for. Like that.
This one driven out to center field as Jones is back, and another home run for Realmuto. A 2-homer day. He's got 4 RBIs.
Yep, I think JT's feeling pretty good today.
I would say so.
Yep, seeing the ball well. Good backdrop here in Baltimore. It's making it look easy. Tell you what, center field once again. All 3, well, I should say 3. His last 3 home runs, all 3 have gone to center field. Let's give you another look. That's right about the same spot as the first one. That's called grooving your swing and being ready to do it again. That is impressive, I'll tell you what. Where do we go to vote for the All-Star game, Paul?
That would be MLB.com.
How many times a day can I vote?
5. For a total of 35.
I'm just asking.
4th career multi-home run game and 2nd this year. JT Realmuto as the Marlins are back in front, 5-2. Nice day for Realmuto, who's been swinging the bat extremely well the last week or so. His board taps that one foul, still 1-2. And Bour couldn't hold up. They check at third, but he knew anyway. That's the 6th strikeout today for Alex Cobb. 1 out here in the 6th. Now it's time for our Chevrolet Prospect Spotlight. Mike Jacobs with the Muck Dogs as they opened up their league opener last night, the New York Penn League. They lost it 5-1, but you see his staff. Of course, Mike Jacobs, a big part of Marlins history, as Castro grounds one to second base. And he was retired, one of the many Marlins alums that were there last weekend in Miami for Alumni Weekend.
I had a chance to sit with him, have some dinner Saturday night. Derek Jeter put on a festive party for all the alumni that were in town that Saturday night. Sat next to he and his wife, enjoyed some conversation. He's well on his way. He's doing very good work. I'm sure will be considered, I'm guessing, in the next few seasons for a managerial position. Players have responded to his skills, his manager skills and coaching skills as well. In the minor leagues, it's probably the best way to say it, because even as a manager, you're as much a coach as you are a manager.
Right. Outside to JT Riddle. Did you get that sense when you guys were playing that he would have that kind of managerial gene in him? Because some guys, it's like immediately.
I would probably say not. Of course, I played against him. I didn't really play with him. But, I mean, the one thing that I knew, I mean, like, watching him, he very quiet, kind of stoic, almost like, how he did things were very professional. And you certainly saw that about him. But, what goes into, the first thing you think of a manager is communication skills. You've got 25 guys. You've got to be able to communicate in a multitude of ways. He's got that. It's in there. There's no doubt about it. He's very passionate about it.
Of course, Don Mattingly managing this series against one of his former managers, Buck Showalter. In fact, was his last big league manager. There's Buck. 25th season as a manager in professional baseball, 20th in the major leagues, and over 1,500 wins for Buck Showalter. 9th season here in Baltimore. A 3-time manager of the year, but this one of the more difficult years of the 9 in Baltimore. 3-2. Inside for ball 4. That's the second walk issued by Cobb.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
Brinson 0 for 2 on the afternoon. A couple of ground outs. The Orioles bullpen starting to stir. Cobb sitting at 75 pitches. Of course, we've told you there's been a very aggressive early count approach from the Marlins today against Cobb. He has given up 5 runs.
To third. It's Valencia as Brinson is retired. Cobb is through 6. But he has given up 2 home runs to JT Realmuto. It's a 5-2 lead for Miami.
Because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Back here in Baltimore, it's a 5-2 lead for the Marlins. Here's the first pitch of the bottom of the 6th inning. Is in there for a called strike to Trey Mancini, then Jonathan Scope and Mark Trumbo. Fouled back quickly, 0-2. really just been the one rough inning, that third inning, where again Wei and Chen gave up 4 hits in the span of 5 hitters. But other than that, what have you seen from Chen this afternoon?
Well, and I think what was so different about that approach, I mean, it's maybe giving some credit to the Orioles in that third inning. They kind of had more of a midfield. I mentioned it about the Marlins today. JT just went to deep to center field. You know, that approach. Think about Machado's big base hit. Think about the double that set it all up. They went the other way. But since then, I actually was just telling you what. There's a string of 5 or 6 balls that went to the left side of the infield. I mean, Chen was like, you know, you're feeding me. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll keep throwing you changeups away, all you right-handed hitters. I'm just going to let you roll over the top and hit ground balls to the right side because I've got 2 great defenders over here.
The first strikeout of the afternoon for Wei and Chen. It was against Trey Mancini, who has now struck out 22 times in his last 51 at-bats.
You can see him kind of processing out right now. I kind of was watching him closely, a little early batting practice today. He's really feeling for it.
Going inside to Scope. Last time Scope was up, we were talking about his struggles this year compared to last year. As Chen gets set to deliver the 2-0 pitch, and that's in there for a called strike. Right now, Jonathan Scope has 16 RBIs. It is mid-June. Last year, he became the fastest Oriole to reach 100 RBIs since Chris Davis got 100 on August 1st of 2013. He got his 100th RBI on August 31st. He would have to drive in 84 runs. 83 runs. In the next few weeks. I will see myself out, Mr. Hollingsworth. It is 5-3.
7th home run of the season for Jonathan Scope. Well, he got himself into a hitter's count and got a hitter's pitch. That's really what this kind of boils down to. You're right. It's undeniable. You can't predict them all, but Scope put a good swing on a 3-1 fastball. That's what happens.
If only I could use my powers for good, I would. Trust me. I wish. I wish.
Yeah, it's a developed talent in art. I'll try and teach you.
Yep. It's going to get to a point where I just say, welcome back for the bottom of the 6th, and then we'll be right back. And that's going to be it.
Let's give you another look. It's a swing from the side. Good extension right there. Scope's not searching for his swing. The numbers are just down right now. It's a 3-1 pitch. It misses. Certainly wanted to get it away. Got it in.
Popped up, shallow right. Castro is there, and Trumbo's retired for the 2nd out.
Don't miss your chance to get the last Life brand t-shirt on Friday, June 29th. There's $35. You'll get our limited edition shirt and a game ticket as the Marlins take on the Mets. Visit marlins.com/life today.
There is Joey Rickard 0 for 2 today. He takes a called strike.
The shadows that you were referring to have completely taken over the hitters. Jonathan Scope certainly was not affected by it, but you see the hitter and the pitcher, Wei and Chen, still in sunlight.
Well, just the way that the ballpark is constructed, the shadows come and go and come and go because of the way that it's kind of, you've got the lights, and those creep over. They did so about half hour, 45 minutes ago. And then you've got the shadow of the roof, and then you've got the open air behind it. Either way, it works in the favor of Wei and Chen, who gets the strikeout of Rickard. 2 in the inning. We're through 6. 118th U.S. Open as the best in the world look to tame Shinnecock Hills. It all starts at 10 a.m. on your local Fox station or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Wei-Yin Chen has been taming the Orioles this afternoon. 5-3 as he is through 6 innings of work to put an end to a little run that he had been on of going 4 1/3 in back-to-back starts. Yes, the 8 hits. Home run mixed in there as well. But as Don Mattingly always says, we just want our starters to give our team a chance to win. And he has done that. The offense has done its part. And in fact, Chen's battery mate, JT Realmuto, has more than done his part. A couple of home runs and 4 RBIs. J.B. Shuck, Yadiel Rivera, and Derek Dietrich against Alex Cobb here in the 7th. We talked about it a little bit yesterday and said that we'd get into it today about the late signing of Alex Cobb. Didn't sign with the Orioles until the 21st of March. A 4-year, $57 million deal. And of course, his ERA at the moment right now, updated to the 2nd, is 7.26. So he was asked about that, about signing late. He said, I think it's a matter of being comfortable on the mound again. I try not to use what happened this offseason as an excuse, but it was difficult to go from straight offseason mode to feeling like you're in a big league game almost overnight. So that's been the adjustment. He didn't make his first start at first turn around, the first time around the rotation for the Orioles. His first start was on the 14th of April. This one has popped up left side, foul ground for Valencia, who has room for the first out. But yeah, I mean, we've seen this a lot the last few years. This offseason really for everybody, but there's been a few guys, I'm thinking back to Stephen Drew a couple of years ago, Kendrys Morales, those guys that didn't sign until really after the draft.
Holding out for more money, bigger contracts where they thought they were supposed to be.
And the whole draft pick compensation
sure,
thing, that
absolutely.
was the other thing.
Yep.
But you think about it, I mean, again, I know you're not a pitcher, but could you ever imagine not getting to camp until rosters had already been trimmed a couple of times?
No. It certainly was a different winter. I hope it doesn't happen again, certainly for the players' sake. But you're right. I mean, there's definitely evidence, and I'll support it as best I can in what Cobb is talking about. So this was coming into today, and again, I heard about that, and so it caused me to go, look, see, is what he's saying making sense? I told you there weren't many numbers that really help Cobb's cause really this season, meaning he's doing this particularly well. And so when somebody says something like that, it kind of gets my mind working. Okay, well, what's breaking down? So I went back and looked at his pitches that we've told you all game long. He throws his sinker, knuckle curve, and a split finger. There's the knuckle curve. All right, so in 2017, you look at the numbers up and down. This is the batting average against both for the lefties and the righties, and I'll just run through them real quick. There's 236 in there, 183, 283, but nothing above 300. You look at the numbers this year. Lefties and righties are hitting above 300 against his sinker. Get this, the knuckle curve, lefties and righties. Lefties are hitting 522, and righties were hitting 438. That's coming into today's ballgame. His split finger fastball, which is the weapon of choice that he likes to use against the lefties, they're hitting 409.
This one to short. Machado retires Rivera 2 away.
So, the point really is, I really do believe he's correct. Now, how it is, where do you bring it back to? Do you say, okay, well, ultimately, do you excuse the 7+ ERA and base it on signing late? But his fastball velocity is exactly where it was last year. We've seen some good from him even today. We talked about the strikeouts, some good breaking pitches, but definitely see those moments where things aren't back in line. I think that if you're a Baltimore Orioles fan, you'd argue that, well, I certainly understand that, but you've thrown 56 pitches this year, and now you're coming off back-to-back starts in which you've given up 5 earned runs and 9 earned runs. When's it going to get better? So,
well, he obviously won't, right? But you want to make an excuse for him as Tehran Guerrero loosens in the Marlins pen? Well, hey, maybe he's on a new team. He's in a new league. He's in a new division. No,
but
he's not.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like it's a new team, yes, but same division. So he's pitched in this ballpark a bunch. He's faced the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays a bunch.
Well, I think that's it. I mean, I would understand that maybe through the first 4 times, and sometimes again we're speaking to confidence, and you can't really qualify confidence, put a number on it. You know what I mean? So where does a player sit when it comes to that? All we have is the evidence of what's going on, and right now he is struggling like he's never struggled before.
And it was Dietrich this afternoon that got it all started, swinging at the first pitch of the ball game and lining one into the right center field gap. Back in the first, he would come around to score on the Real Muto RBI single. Marlins scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the sixth as Dietrich has a base hit into right field. A multi-hit effort for Dietrich, and there's a runner on with 2 outs.
Well, nice at bat by Double D. It's a splitty out in front of it. It broke in his bat, but a good level swing. Softly lined that base hit into right field, as you mentioned, for his 2nd hit of the day. I got to admit, this is kind of the at bat that I'm shocked at. Cobb going right after Anderson.
Shocked why?
Well, again, he just gave up the hit to Dietrich. This is the 4th time for Anderson getting a look at him. I know he's only got the 1 walk, and he's gotten him on a couple of groundouts, but this is a pivotal spot in the ball game. You are within striking distance. Anderson can do some serious damage right here.
Can I go out on a limb?
What do you got?
He won't see Real Muto again.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I just was thinking at batter earlier, just based on what BA's been doing to the baseball lately, particularly to right field.
He did walk and score in the third. Just to get away of that one, a ball and a strike. This one topped to third base. Valencia's throw over to Mancini is in time. And the way this game started, you'd probably be a little surprised that Cobb is through 7. 5-3 though. For the Marlins as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and the day is done for Chen as he goes 6 innings, gives up the 3 runs, a couple of strikeouts on the last in his last inning of work. He didn't get his first until the first out of the 6th, and then he bookended that 6th inning with a pair of strikeouts. But a guy who, no stranger to the strikeout, has 40 of them this year. Teheran Guerrero is going to work the 7th inning against 9-1-2 for Baltimore. 33rd game for Guerrero.
Yeah, first game here in Baltimore. Obviously did not pitch last night. Kyle Bearclaw did. 8 great innings from Urania. Prior to that last outing, had gone a couple scoreless innings. So looking for a little bit of a bounce back. An opportunity to be aggressive here. That's the one thing I think for Guerrero that stands out here of late. Sprayed it a little bit inside that strike zone and off. A couple of walks last time out.
Again, the Marlins got themselves out to a 4-0 lead in this ball game with single runs in the first and the second. And then JT Realmuto has certainly taken over. He's driven in 4 of the 5 runs. Don Mattingly's got to be happy with what he has seen from not only Realmuto but also Wei-Yin Chen today. Don Mattingly told the media before the game that Chen might help him being in a place where he's been in a comfort zone before. And again, there was that little hiccup in that 3rd inning. He gave up a couple of runs, but he's been pitching well. He's been pitching better than some of the numbers might suggest.
Well, never the sense today that the game, that momentum had switched back to the Baltimore Orioles and that they were piling on offensively. You're right. I mean, you had the 1 inning, 3rd, where they had the 3 consecutive hits. Of course, at the time, the Marlins had a 4-0 lead. And he had 2 outs in the inning, so you felt like he was an out away from getting out of it. All right, so he finally gets the next out. Well, then he settles back in, right? Gives up a couple hits along the way. In fact, 1 hit in each of the next innings. But solid results. Set the stage, got the leadoff guy out on all 3 of those innings. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, we showed you the board of the last 3 starts. None of them quality. And the fact that he wasn't going long into ball games, and it wasn't again that his pitch count raced up to well over 104 innings. The idea was this: it was how he was doing it. It was almost how he was processing his game. Hits, walks, whip, in fact, might be the best way to say it, because his whip through those 3 starts was well over 2. So what does that tell you? He's got 2 base runners on in just about every inning.
Right.
Well, Don Mattingly says, we can't live with this. We're living on the edge. Listen, we're not Aerosmith here. We got to get rid of this. We got to win baseball games. This is the big league. So what do? You take him out of those games early. Well, today, much better tempo.
As Wins strikes out. You see it 85 miles an hour. You saw a little kind of a shoulder shrug for Guerrero. He maybe knows he got away with one right there, but he'll take the strikeout nonetheless.
Yeah, it always seems like you get away with a little bit more when you throw 100.
Yes, true. Yes.
Backs up a slider, picks up the first out of the inning.
Well, that was the thing, again, to finish the thought on Chen, was that, and again, you mentioned it, there's 100 right there. 7 1/3 innings against Washington on the 26th of May. That was his longest start as a Marlin. And then his next outing was his shortest.
Right.
And that was the outing in San Diego, where he only lasted an inning and 2/3. And after the game, come to find out, Don Mattingly says, well, we kind of knew early that he didn't have it, because his bullpen, it just didn't seem like, reports from Juan Nieves, the pitching coach, JT Realmuto, early part of that game, said he doesn't feel like he's really got anything. Maybe like a little dead arm-ish type deal. Obviously no injury, he hasn't skipped any starts, but just one of those days where he just didn't have it. Today, a little bit of it may have come back.
Well, a good rhythm, and he found a pattern that I thought played in the later innings, the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. That little stretch of hitters that I told you all hit the ball to the left side on the ground. Well, what does that tell you? Especially when it's righties, that you're changing speeds well on the outside corner and you're disrupting the swing path of the hitters, and they're getting out in front. Now, Adam Jones had a hit through the right side, but again, it was on the ground. There was also 5 other outs over there. Rivera and Riddle made every play for about 2 innings there. That's what you want to see.
And with this defense, let him put the ball in play. There's 3-0. Was in there for a called strike to Craig Gentry. Gentry had a base hit in the 1st inning, popped up in the 3rd, and grounded out in the 5th. A little late on that one.
Well, the Shadows can't help either.
I mean, Shadows have never seen a guy who throws 100 miles an hour. Can't be easy.
Especially the release point for Guerrero. I've said this all season long. You know, it's a weapon that he's got that nobody's really laid eyes on him. Where he goes, his 97 is new eyes. You know, release point.
Real Muto set up low. That one missed upstairs. Saw a tiny bit of frustration, even though he got the strikeout of Wins. The 3-2 pitch. Well, he hit his spot that time and a called strike 3.
How about it? Pitcher's pitch at 97. This seems almost unfair. Wow. Well done. 97 dotting that low corner. Really the only thing that I can say as far as the reaction from Gentry is just that it's been a little inconsistent in that spot today. He gets the call. He gets the strikeout. Number 2 here in the 7th.
And now Adam Jones with nobody on and 2 out. The tying run on deck in the person of Manny Machado. Couple of hits for Jones today, a double and a run scored in the 3rd and a single in the 5th. Two-one to Jones. This one toward right center field. Brinson laying out is not going to come up with this one. And Anderson right there gets it in quickly, and Adam Jones is on at first with a 2-out base hit.
Well, tough read off the bat for Brinson. I guarantee it. The Shadows, we talked about the Shadows in regards to the hitters. Well, he can play tricks on the outfielders as well. It cost him a step or 2 off the bat. Tremendous effort as he tried to close. He's very, very talented and very good at doing that, but unable to secure that catch.
Jones is aboard again. And now Machado, who drove in 2 in the 3rd inning. A tying run here in the bottom of the 7th.
Guerrero needs to be careful. Machado certainly there for the dramatic. Tying run at the plate. He's missed his spot the last 4 or 5 pitches. Location JT's been asking for. You see it right there. He's trying to get him to the outside corner, and he's got that arm side run. He's dropping his elbow just a bit, and it's sailing on him.
Two balls and no strikes to Machado. Fights that one off into right field, a base hit. And the Orioles have the tying runs aboard with 2 outs in the 7th.
Second hit on the afternoon for Manny Machado. Interestingly enough, both hits going the other way. Juan Nieves is going to pop out. Quick word with Guerrero.
Brad Ziegler now up. Well, Valencia's been swinging a hot bat. He's got a base hit. Again, he just had his 6-game hit streak snapped yesterday, but another hit today. Well, you don't know how this plays out, I suppose, but you're probably happy with the fact that 2 singles to Jones and Machado. Those are 2 guys that could certainly have a lot more damage.
Well, between them today, they've got 5 hits. I mean, that's just it. It does seem like they're heating up a little bit, but if you keep them to safety, singles, meaning it's baseball talk, sorry about that, but you know, just simple singles at first base, you know, you're in business. You don't want to see the power start to show itself. That's the one thing that you concern yourself with. There's still a run scoring opportunity. Valencia in the box.
Guerrero seems to be fighting something today. Whether it's something mechanical or what it might be, but we have seen him really all over the place. He did get 2 strikeouts before the 2 hits.
He's just dropping his arm a little bit, not on every pitch. He's being reminded, certainly by Juan Nieves and JT, that he's doing it, but when he does, you see the run. Front side opens up a little early, arm drags. You still see the velocity, but you watch the ball explode towards home plate, running towards those right-handed Oriole hitters.
That one misses low.
Nice pick by JT Realmuto.
Self-defense.
That's right. Well, these are tough on a catcher. You start to creep up on that front edge of home plate. The ball can do a lot of different things. Hopefully that stayed in the dirt and bounced true.
Here's the 2-1. 2-2.
Guerrero can find that spot one more time. I think he'll get the out he's looking for. Watched a few of these right-handed hitters, including Manny Machado, who's got an open stance. You see it with Valencia as well. They're cheating to his fastball, to the velocity. That front hip on all 3, even Jones was doing it as well, opening up a little early because they're trying to catch up to how hard he throws. And you certainly don't want to give him anything to the inside part of the plate. If you can get away here, you should be able to get that out.
2-2 pitch. And it's over the head of Justin Bourne into right field. Jones is going to come in to score, and Machado's on his way to third. It's an RBI single for Danny Valencia. We've got ourselves a 1-run game.
Well, he was able to get it away, but it was up. Valencia is just going to kind of poke at it a little bit. Look at that. Just enough. Get it down that right field line and drive in a run. Front side opened up, just as we kind of expected. The elevation on that pitch allowed him to make some contact. Don Mattingly making his way out.
That's going to be it for Guerrero. As Don Mattingly makes the Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. It is now a 1-run game here at Camden Yards, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. close it to a 1-run game here with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Everyone deserves a second chance. Just play Grouper. Enter your Lucky Money ticket online, and you're registered for the 400,000 Super Grouper Second Chance promotion. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. The ground ball specialist Brad Ziegler, who has settled into a different role, was on the last road trip that he lost his spot as the closer of this team. Made some mechanical adjustments, and all of a sudden he has been a lot more effective.
Well, he certainly has been. He's been doing a fantastic job of getting the ball on the ground. In fact, this season, one of his best. I know the ERA is a bit misleading, 6.16. He went through a bad stretch, no doubt about it. Lost the closer's role, but he's been great of late.
First pitch swinging for Trey Mancini. This one fouled back and out of play, 0-1.
Over to 3.71. That's ground outs to air outs, meaning number of ground balls he gets to the ball in the air. He's been doing fantastic. That's the highest number he has posted since 2015. Oh, by the way, he had a 1.85 ERA that season.
Quickly 0-2 to Mancini. Machado is at third. Valencia, a moment ago, had the RBI single, is over at first. Ziegler trying to limit it to the 1 run here in the inning for the Orioles. And no swing. This is the first base umpire, Chris Conroy.
Well, there's the slider that's been so big for Ziegler. Six consecutive scoreless appearances over 6 2/3 innings. Slider a big part of that.
Ziegler said about a week or so ago that they made it a little mechanical adjustment to try to free up his arms a little bit because his back's been tight for so long. Whatever adjustment they've made, he has been a lot more effective. Missed outside in the last 3 pitches to Mancini, and the count runs full. That will give Valencia a head start off of first. Jonathan Scope on deck.
Well, that is what Mancini has been trying to do all afternoon, really stay inside the baseball. It's created some vulnerability to the inside part of the plate, but I've watched him late on a couple of changeups from Chen. So he did a nice job of changing speeds and making pitches. Sometimes with that fastball in on him as well. Ziegler's arsenal a little bit different.
Again, a 3-2 pitch. And this one ground ball up the middle. Riddle gets to it, throws to first in time. Well, Chen with the pat on the back for Guerrero. And Mr. Offense today, JT Realmuto will lead things off as we go to the 8th. fun afternoon. Brad Ziegler getting a big third out in the bottom of the 7th inning to limit the damage at just the 1. But it is a 1-run game, and JT Realmuto has had himself an afternoon. A 2-homer day. He has 4 RBIs, also added an RBI single in the 1st inning. All that damage, however, against Alex Cobb. Cobb is out of the game after 7 innings of work. And Michael Givens is in. Last Marlin with a 3-homer game. Cody Ross on September 11, 2006. So Givens, a former infielder, a guy who can certainly bring it, rush it up to the plate. Down on the count, 2-0. Realmuto sends this one out to center field again, but not nearly as deep as the last 2. And there is one away here in the 8th inning. A closer look at Givens out of the Orioles bullpen.
Yeah, 4.24 ERA. His 35th inning of work is upon us. Does strike out a lot of hitters, as you mentioned. Powerful arm. Righty sitting 224, lefties 275 on the season. This is his 30th game.
Led the team in strikeouts last year and innings pitched out of the bullpen. Strike there to Justin Bour. A couple of strikeouts today for JB. Also flew out in the 1st inning. Michael Givens, born in Tampa, Florida. 2nd round pick in 2009 by the Orioles. Plant High School in Florida. Same high school as 1st round pick this year, Connor Scott.
He throws hard, 95-97 fastball. Slider and changeup. Changeup hard as well, 87 right there with the slider. Just a tick higher.
Adam Conley. The Scope, Trumbo, and Rickard due up in the 8th inning for Baltimore. That one just missed inside. You hear it's oohs and ahs from the crowd.
It was dotting the corner.
Bour is down on strikes for the 3rd time today. 2 outs here in the 8th.
Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Starlin Castro looking for his 1st hit this afternoon. Quickly down 0-2.
Starlin Castro came into Baltimore hot as a firecracker at Camden Yards. Big numbers from last year. Struggled a little bit on that fastball / slider away. A couple of strikeouts and a ground ball this afternoon.
Gibbons also has a little bit of that. It's not as much as a Johnny Cueto or a Louis Tiant, but he's got a little bit of that kind of twist back, that pivot type of beginning to his delivery.
That's the ball.
And boy, does it get there fast.
Just a slight Louis Tiant, although he doesn't delay.
Castro with a fly ball out to left field, drifting toward left center. It's Rickard for out number 3. We go to the last of the 8th. Marlins in front by a run.
And the Orioles. It is also Father's Day, so all throughout the course of our broadcast, you're going to hear from players and coaches on what the holiday means to them. The Marlins will also be wearing special Father's Day uniforms, and I made my way down to the clubhouse to give you a sneak preview of what they look like. Here are the t-shirts that they will be warming up in. Here is the hat that they will be wearing, and then also we've got some really cool Father's Day wristbands. So guys, this is a pretty sweet setup for Father's Day tomorrow.
Absolutely, Jessica, thank you so much. Yeah, of course, Major League Baseball does a terrific job on Mother's Day and Father's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, all these special uniforms to kind of commemorate what's going on. And tomorrow's the baby blue for Father's Day, so that'll be very special. Jonathan Scope to lead things off. Against Brad Ziegler, a high chop, and barehanded by Rivera, and throws a strike to first base.
Get it done. My goodness, 1-run ball game, 8th inning. Wow. I'll tell you what, Perry Hill continues to rave about this young man's talent. That's a pretty good example right there. You can't even use the glove. He knows it. Got a fairly speedy runner, but he's running out of time. So he just goes to the bare hand, and why not? Perfect strike to Bohr at first. Huge first out here in the 8th.
And now Mark Trumbo, and really for the second time, you see one former, if you will, third baseman, Brian Anderson, kind of square the shoulders, get the body set. All he's got to do is get the ball and throw it. Same thing there with Rivera. Body in a perfect position. Almost looked like the weight transfer had already happened too. And then he just uncorked one across the diamond.
I have to admit, it's been a while. I watch a lot of baseball.
So do I.
Eat, sleep, and pretty much all day long. I mean, how long is it? When was the last time you remember seeing a third baseman barehand a chopper like that on the right side and throw across the diamond all in one motion? For me, it's been years. I thought back to my childhood. I was thinking Mike Schmidt, for crying out loud. I have not seen this in a long, long time. Wow.
It's almost like he started the crow hop as the ball was coming down.
Anticipation. That's exactly right. I'm sure he did. That's what he's thinking. Trying to buy time.
Ziegler, who got the last out of the 7th inning, back out for the 8th. Got that nice play over at third from Rivera, and then issues the walk to Trumbo. It'll bring up Joey Rickard 1-on-1 out in a 1-run game. Rickard takes a called strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Austin Wynns on deck. Marlins have induced 3 ground ball double plays in this series. A little less than 2 games worth. 2 last night, 1 in the first inning today. Now would be a good spot for another from a guy who gets a bunch of them. The 1-1. Bobby Dickerson still got it over there at third. It's an act like you've been there before play too. Make the play, flip it in the stands, make a baseball fan for life, and then here we go. Back to the sides. See if they can turn it here. Castro gets the out at first base. That's all he'll get as Trumbo gets to second base with 2 outs. Don Mattingly going to come out. That might be it for Brad Ziegler. But while he walks out to the mound, we remind you that the WB Mason Marlins Live postgame show coming up. Craig Minervini along with Tommy Hutton and Gabby Sanchez as the battery powering the Marlins today. JT Realmuto wants not to make a change. It's to argue with Brian Onora.
Well, they want to know Trumbo went out of his way. I mean, where was his, where is his baseline at? Now, when the Starlin Castro right there has the ball, that's where the baseline is established. So does Trumbo go out of the baseline? In my opinion, he does. Right there. He's got 3 feet from that spot. So the question is, did he go 3 feet wide?
If I'm calling it down the middle, I'm going to say no. It looked like he maybe took like 1 side shuffle to the right. I mean, it's close, don't get me wrong. But Don Mattingly seems to be pretty satisfied with the explanation.
Yeah, and this gap gets a little wider. Right? That's Castro's momentum's taking him towards home. Probably too close to call. Well, that was the great debate. That's what everything was going on, was whether Trumbo was safely inside his baseline.
Well, by advancing to second base on that ground ball, Trumbo in scoring position for Austin Wynns. He has only 17 at-bats this year.
Does have a base hit to right field.
They'll throw down to second base. Trumbo's back.
Well, it serves its purpose. Not every throw is meant to eliminate a base runner. It does shorten up that lead moving forward. Trumbo trying to get, he knows he's not the fastest guy on the planet, but he's trying to steal steps. That's the idea. As a good base runner, you're always trying to get a little bit more. There's a base hit. Shorter journey to home. JT trying to cut into that.
0-2 to the Orioles backstop, and he chases, comes up empty. That will do it in the 8th inning. As Ziegler strands the tying run at second base. On this strikeout, we go to the 9th, 5-4. Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, in pursuit of your cure. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. It's been a nice weekend so far. A win last night in the series opener and a 5-4 lead as we head to the top of the 9th inning. That man right there, JT Riddle, will lead things off. 4 outs out of the bullpen for Brad Ziegler. As he has set the Marlins up nicely. Brad Brock in for his 27th game this season.
Yeah, 3.86 ERA. Lefty's hitting 3.11. Righty's 2.50 against him. Throws hard. Sinking fastball, 4-seam fastball, along with a changeup and a slider.
And a chopper up the middle, and a dive by Machado, spins and throws, and Riddle is safe.
Well, for the moment, his second hit of the day. Nice job by JT.
I didn't think for a second Machado was going to A, get to it, B, make the throw, or C, make it that close.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think the foot speed's where maybe you get it, but he gets a, he gets a plus on the throw because he's got an absolute cannon. So anytime that he may sacrifice for being one of the bigger shortstops in the game of baseball, he makes up with a strong arm and made that a lot closer. Wow.
The Orioles won't look at it, so it is a base hit. Obviously wouldn't have needed to. Looked like he was in there safely, but Riddle's on at first for Lewis Brinson. Brinson with 3 groundouts today. All against Alex Cobb. With the first 7 innings, gave up 7 hits, 5 earned runs, couple of walks, 6 strikeouts as Drew Steckenrider is up. Kyle Bearclaw's worked the last 2 days.
Yeah, 14 pitches yesterday. Obviously worked on Thursday as well. Day off on Wednesday. It would have been 3 days in a row. Now he has not been used 3 days in a row yet this season. So if he was available today, that would be the case.
Again, that's the benefit that Don Mattingly, Juan Nieves, and Dean Traynor have, is that they've got a bunch of hard throwing arms back there. Obviously you've got Ziegler, who's the most career saves of the bunch. Kyle Bearclaw has been terrific out of that spot the last couple of weeks. Drew Steckenrider another option, and he may get the last 3 outs of this one. Brinson swings and misses for the first out here in the 9th. J.B. Shuck with an RBI single, or an RBI ground out rather, in the 2nd inning. Lined out in the 4th, popped up in the 7th. Takes a called strike.
And with Brock, 4-seam fastball, slider change, does use the change to both the lefties and righties. Slider is his main go-to pitch.
Brock had been the setup man for Zach Britton for so long, but Britton, working his way back from an injury, didn't make his season debut until about a week or so ago. So it's Brock who's stepped into the closer's role. He's got 10 saves this year. Obviously not a save situation here, but for the Orioles, they have not had many save opportunities, with just 19 victories on the year. In fact, they haven't won a home game since May 13th. It's been over a month.
Told you, not many positives that you can find. start wandering down that path, it's hard to find it, right? 8-16 versus lefties, 10-22 at Camden Yards. I mean, this is a team and an organization that's really struggling right now.
Certainly not a conversation for right now, but a team that could look a lot different on August 1st. As J.B. Shuck grounds one to Scope to Machado. At the speed of Shuck, he's able to beat it out.
Well, Shuck has got to be one of the fastest Marlins on the team, able to beat that out. Like a tailor-made. Hard hit, 4.63, able to fly down that line.
The Orioles erase the lead runner, so 2 on and 1 out for Yadiel Rivera. But a base hit in the 5th inning to snap an 0 for 16. Has also come up with a very nice defensive play. Did so in the 8th inning. On a high chopper, basically right at the third base bag. Bare-handed it and threw it across the diamond to get the out. Got the start today because Miguel Rojas was hit on the hand yesterday. Another check on Shuck. Hit on the hand yesterday. It's a hand contusion day to day for Miguel Rojas. Skipper said before the game if he needed to use Rojas, he could have. He still can if he wanted to. Rojas said he felt good, but took some swings and there was a little swelling in there, so Mattingly said, well, maybe I'll just give him a day. Figures to be back in the lineup tomorrow, but Rivera doing a terrific job in his absence as he takes a look at strike 2. The Orioles will have the top of the order due up in the 9th inning. Gentry, Jones, and Machado. Against Drew Steckenrider, who is ready and waiting. Nobody's of that group has seen Drew Steckenrider. Of course, the Marlins haven't played the Orioles as a team since 2015. Blocked by Wins behind home plate.
Tell you what,
strikes.
did a fantastic job right there. I thought that was ticketed for the bricks behind home plate.
A ball and 2 strikes, and Rivera swings and misses. Brock gets the strikeout. A couple in the inning. Drew Steckenrider is going to come out and try to protect a 1-run lead. The series wraps up tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. That's when our Marlins Live pregame show starts. First pitch a little bit after 1. As it's Dylan Bundy going for the Baltimore Orioles. Trevor Richards is on the bump for the Miami Marlins. Will it be an attempt at a sweep? Well, Drew Steckenrider will have a lot to say about that as he comes on, trying to finish things off. Pitching in his 34th game. He's got 1 career save. It came last September. There's Kyle Bearclaw's worked the last 2 days. So it's Steckenrider who gets the save opportunity today. And he'll face a lefty off the bench for the Orioles. But it's not Chris Davis. It's Corbin Joseph who takes a called strike.
Fastball, slider, occasional change for Steck. He's been in a good spot here of late, throwing the ball very well. We go back to the September 2nd save that he had last season. It was a 4-out save. Marlins 10-9 victory at Marlins Park.
Joseph led off last night's ball game. 1 for 4, his first game with the Orioles and first big league game since May 13th of 2013. Called up from Double-A. Slaps that one foul. And again, I make mention of, the Orioles going to the bench in the 9th inning, get the favorable matchup of a lefty against a righty. They do have Chris Davis sitting there. But Buck Showalter deciding that's not the direction we are going to go right now.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Davis has really been dealing with is velocity, and catching up to it. I think that's a favorable matchup between he and Steckenrider.
He's hitting 150 this year with 4 home runs, 15 RBIs. This is a guy who had 53 home runs with 138 RBIs in 2013. He finished 3rd in the MVP voting. He had 47 home runs in 2015, but this year has been much different for Chris Davis. And Buck Showalter is trying to give him just days off. Just clear your mind, clear your brain a little bit.
Well, Joseph has been pesky. He has not put the ball in play. He is fouling off some tough pitches. Steckenrider going right at him. Fastballs in, fastballs away. He needs a result.
Working an 8-pitch at bat. Here's number 9. Again, slap foul. Well, he's not trying to do too much.
Well, he can be dangerous. And Steckenrider, as I said, he's just fouling off pitch after pitch.
Outside for ball 4. Joseph is going to be lifted for a pinch runner. It's Jace Peterson off the Orioles bench. We've talked a lot about the Orioles' struggles this year, but Adam Jones, 3 hits today. Manny Machado with a couple of hits and 2 RBIs up next. Jones grounded into a double play in the 1st inning. Doubled and scored in the 3rd. Had a single in the 5th. And singled and scored in the 7th inning. Check on Peterson, who has 30 career steals. Stolen base in 3 straight games for the first time in his career. He's 8 for 9. More than a 1-run game, probably not a steal situation.
He's not running on JT. I would be shocked. Absolutely shocked.
This one to second base. Castro applies the tag, flips to first. Got him!
Oh, yeah! Get it done! Wow!
Kind of ran Peterson back to first base, had to tag him with the glove, and then try to get it out of the glove to retire Jones. And Castro does it.
Might very well be the best part of this play. You know what? Think back to the Trumbo play last inning. That's right. He's not going to just let him be called out for going out of the baseline. He's not going to get that call. So what's he do? Goes right at Peterson. Here you go. Quick. And definitely beats Andrew Jones. My goodness, what a play. This Marlins defense has been special this afternoon. Woo.
Two outs and nobody on. Here's Manny Machado. Machado drove in the first 2 Orioles runs today with a base hit in the 3rd inning. He was 4 for 28 with 2 RBIs in his last 8 games coming into today. As this one is sent out to left center field. Brinson a long way back, has room and makes the catch. And the Marlins hold off the Orioles and take the first 2 games of this 3-game series. As Drew Steckenrider picks up career save number 2. He gets a lot of pats on the back. And one from his battery mate in the 9th inning, JT Realmuto. Had a 2-homer day, 4 RBIs. A 5-4 win. Craig, Tommy, Gabby, all coming up on the Marlins Live post-game show.